Hello everyone, welcome back to Cognitive Chronicles. Today we are diving into a topic which is crucial for us to understand: autism. First off, what exactly is autism? The word autism is derived from the Greek word autos, meaning self. The term was first used by Swiss psychiatrist Eugene Bleuler in 1911 to describe a symptom of schizophrenia where patients were withdrawn and lived in their own world, detached from reality. Bleuler used the word autistic to describe this self-centered thinking. In 1943, American psychiatrist Leo Kanner noticed about 11 children played and talked in a way that was different from others, such as social withdrawal, difficulty in communication, and repetitive actions. He thought these kids had a unique way of understanding the world and published a groundbreaking paper about this condition known as Kanner syndrome and adapted the term autism to describe those children. Kanner's adaptation, early infantile autism, marked the beginning of autism being recognized as a condition separate from schizophrenia. Around the same time in 1944, Hans Asperger over in Austria was studying a similar condition and identified it as what we call now Asperger's syndrome, a milder form of autism. Unlike Kanner's patients, Asperger's patients had no significant delay in language development but displayed social difficulties and repetitive behaviors. In 1950s, children with autism-like symptoms were often mistaken for childhood schizophrenia, as both conditions involve similar behavior, making it easy to blur the lines. Fast forward to the 1960s and 70s, as research progressed, it became clear that while schizophrenia is a psychological condition typically developing in late adolescence, autism is a neurological condition present from early childhood. This was a huge step forward in understanding the difference between both the conditions. But what exactly causes autism? The truth is, it's complicated. Autism is believed to be the result of a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Research has shown that certain genes are associated with autism, but it's not as simple as finding the autism gene. Environmental factors like certain prenatal exposures might also increase the risk. And when it comes to the brain, studies show that individuals with autism often have differences in brain structure and function. But they are still learning a lot about how these factors come together as these symptoms first appear in early childhood and persist throughout life. Autistic children often struggle with social interactions. They may have difficulty understanding social cues such as body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. This can make it challenging for them to form relationships or engage in typical social activities. For example, a child may not make eye contact during a conversation or may not respond when someone calls their name. They might prefer to play alone rather than with other children and may not understand the concept of taking turns in a game. Communication difficulties are a hallmark of autism. Some autistic children may be nonverbal, while others may develop language but struggle with the meaning and expression of communication. For example, a child might repeat words or phrases they hear without understanding their meaning. They might also have trouble initiating or sustaining a conversation, sticking to rigid topics that interest them rather than engaging in a typical back and forth dialogue. Repetitive behaviors are common in autism. These can include movements like hand flapping, rocking, or more complex rituals such as lining up toys in a specific order. Such behaviors are often a way for the child to self regulate or cope with anxiety. For example, a child may insist on following the same routine every day, such as eating the same food for breakfast or taking the same route to school. Any deviation from this routine can lead to distress or a meltdown. Over the time, it became clear that symptoms and severity of autism could vary widely from one individual to another. As years went by, people learned more about autism. They realized that it's not just one thing but a whole bunch of different things, like how some kids might talk a lot and others might not talk at all. No two people with autism are exactly alike. To better capture this range of differences, the term spectrum was introduced. Let's break down some key terms. So, what does it mean when we say autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder? A neurodevelopmental disorder refers to conditions that affect the development of the nervous system, leading to difficulties in personal, social, academic, or occupational functioning, influencing how individuals perceive the world and interact with others. On the other hand, autism is also a neurodiverse condition, which is a concept that recognizes and respects neurological differences as a natural variation in the human brain. But then, understanding the differences between autism and other developmental disorders is crucial for accurate diagnosis and effective interventions. Developmental disorders like attention deficit hyperactivity disorder ADHD, intellectual disabilities, and learning disabilities may share some overlapping features with autism, such as challenges with social interaction or communication, but autism is visibly different in its pattern of social communication, difficulties, and repetitive behaviors. Diagnosing autism isn't always straightforward. It involves a comprehensive evaluation of a team of professionals, including psychologists, neurologists, and speech therapists, often starting with developmental screenings in early childhood, and the process includes detailed interviews and observations of behavior of the child. But here's the thing, autism can also be diagnosed in adults. While the core criteria remain the same, adults might face different challenges compared to children. Now let's talk about interventions. One of the most effective approaches is applied behavior analysis. This method focuses on changing behaviors by understanding what happens before and after improving specific behavior patterns through positive reinforcement to improve communication and social skills. Developmental approaches such as speech and language therapy focus on improving social skills to improve the person's understanding and building emotional bonds. Occupational and physical therapy teaches skills that help them live as independently as possible, that may include dressing, eating, or bathing. This training helps to improve sensory processing issues and develop essential skills. Educational approaches are given in a classroom setting. In schools, individualized education plans or IEPs ensure that students with autism get the support they need to succeed in an inclusive environment. It provides teachers with ways to adjust the classroom structure and improve academic and other outcomes. But remember, support does not end in the classroom. At home and in the community, creating a supportive and understanding environment is just as important. It is important to know that there are no medications that treat the core symptoms of ASD, except for co-occurring symptoms such as to manage high energy levels, anxiety or depression, and sleep problems. It is important to work with a doctor who has experience in treating people with ASD when considering the use of medication. As we know now that each individual with autism is unique, interventions are tailored to their specific needs. In India, there's growing interest in integrating traditional practices with modern therapies to provide holistic support. The World Health Organization also emphasizes the importance of early intervention and community based support to improve outcomes for people with autism. While there is no cure, these interventions can significantly improve quality of life. Unfortunately, autism is still surrounded by stigma and misinformation, especially in certain parts of the world. But awareness is growing. Global movements such as Autism Awareness Month, Autism Rights Movement, Autism Speaks are working to spread accurate information and promote inclusion. For that, World Autism Awareness Day, observed on April 2nd every year, is a reminder of how far we have come and how far we still have to go. It's a call to action for all of us to educate ourselves, to challenge stigma, and to advocate for a world where everyone is included. In many parts of India, there is still limited awareness and understanding of autism that can lead to delays in diagnosis and intervention, and families may struggle to access appropriate support services. Urban areas may have better access to diagnostic and therapeutic services, but rural areas often lack specialized care, further marginalizing those affected. So, what can we do to support individuals with autism? The most important thing is to be kind and understanding. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Whether you are a student, a professional, or just someone eager to learn, remember that your understanding and acceptance can make a world of difference for someone on the spectrum. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the fascinating world of psychology.